We spoke with President Trump this afternoon at the White House about what happened. Mr. President, do you know if you were the target of the gunman?
I don't know. It sounded to me, I read a manifesto. He's radicalized. He was a Christian, a believer, and then he became an anti-Christian, and he had a lot of change. He's been going through a lot based on what he wrote. His brother complained about him, and I think reported him to the police, and his sister likewise complained about him. His family was very concerned. He was probably a pretty sick guy.
I was in the room, not far from you, Mr. President. Could hear what sounded like gunshots or commotion.
Right.
People nearby could smell the gunpowder. Everybody hit the floor.
John Hinckley literally admitted he did it so they could build a ballroom. That's right. That's true. That's real.
How worried were you that there were going to be injuries?
I wasn't worried. I understand life.
Dude, I feel like this is shameful. I mean, it's 60 Minutes, so it's expected. You know, this is Israel's favorite news broadcaster. This is really fucked up. I mean, this guy's a straight up fascist, man. Like, have some decency. Wipe it off after the glaze, at least. Like, this is unfucking believable. Sarah Longwell defending you now because this is America and you don't go to jail for saying terrible things. You go to jail for doing terrible things. Hope that helps. Bro, all it took was one of her fucking hitters. All it took was one of Sarah's hitters to now turn around and start defending my ass. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, we're building that ballroom and now Sarah is woke now. 2 months complaining about me every fucking day, dude.
We live in a crazy world.
You are sitting there next to the First Lady. The entertainer named Oz Perlman is talking to you. He's known as the mentalist. When did you know something was wrong?
Right around that point.
Dude, the mentalist is getting tremendous marketing out of this, by the way. It's crazy. He's everywhere. He was literally right next to the president, impressing Melania with his magic right as the shooting took place. This is probably a better marketing opportunity for him than if he actually did whatever tricks he had up his sleeve. Aha, perhaps that was the greatest trick of all. Staged by the mentalist for clout. I wonder if the mentalist saw this coming. He should have. If he's a real one, he would have fucking seen it coming. But it turns out he couldn't predict it, so.
In fact, you can...
So the only mentalist we believe in here at the Hasan Reacts broadcast is obviously Professor Jiang.
See the expression on the First Lady's face, and your president of the evening, chairman or president or both, who is doing a great job, by the way.
Weijia Jiang,
your
CBS
associate,
News.
yeah, she was a terrific person. They were asking the name of Caroline's child that he didn't know, I guess. But
Your
he was
press
able
secretary is expecting, and he was trying to guess
That's
the
right.
baby's name.
That's right.
You mentioned the First Lady. Her face, she looked very alarmed. Was she scared?
Well, I don't want to say, and people don't like having it said that they were scared, but certainly, I mean, who wouldn't be when you have a situation like that? By that time, I think she realized ahead of time that...
It is funny that the liberal terrorist was saying how much he loves the troops and cops. He can't even, in the moment of a suicidal mass shooting attempt, conceive the idea that the crimes of empire had anyone else to blame than Trump. That's the point that I was trying to make about like liberalism being like a rudderless movement in general. And maybe that's the reason why you're seeing this kind of thing happen, where they just legitimately think Trump is not a symptom of the problem, but instead the only problem. I don't think these guys do any systemic critique whatsoever, where they just like truly believe Trump is like a singularly repulsive person who has single-handedly rotted these institutions to his core. Much respect to Kash Patel. He's a first responder. No, he definitely fucking hated Kash Patel. That's why he was doing a joke there. But that would be very funny. Much respect to Kash Patel. Because he was tweeting out basically what he was doing, right? What he was doing. He's like, yeah, I just saw Kash Patel's girlfriend holding someone's hand, so I'm just not going to assassinate him. I mean, Trump is basically the Antichrist. That isn't wrong, right? But Trump is also, in many respects, the logical conclusion of the place our systems were heading towards anyway. He is just an extension of the Republican Party. That's part of the reason why he was able to successfully reorient American politics to suit his vision. If you recall, I talked about this leading up to the election. I gave an interview to Newsweek where I said, win or lose, and Trump certainly has a likelihood of winning here, but even if he loses, he has shaped politics in his own vision. And the only way you get to do that, the only reason why he was able to do that was not because he's like this unique, brilliant mind. It's because he was a decent enough room reader who looked at where the Republican Party was heading and just accelerated its process. You can't have a Trump-like figure unless you have a feckless neoliberal order that is refusing to identify real issues, real economic struggles that are causing a lot of anxiety, causing people for alternatives that are chaotic. And therein lies the blame that liberals also have, right?
You see the security moving quickly, within seconds, grabbing the vice president by his coat, lifting him up, bringing him out. Then the counter assault comes in. Took 10 seconds for them to flank you, Mr. President, and then 20 seconds to get you out. It looked chaotic. At one point, you were down. What was happening?
Why do they have a 60 minutes interview on speed dial? What do you mean? This is like a perfect opportunity. 60 minutes is the reason why the Ellisons bought CBS. They were mad that 60 Minutes had done one fucking critical coverage on Israel and America aligning with Israel and doing war crimes in Gaza. That's all it took for the Redstones to sell CBS and 60 Minutes. And they did that. They sold it to a Trump ally, the Ellisons. And now the entire purpose of 60 Minutes is to do regime propaganda.
Well, what happened is...
The woman in the white dress is the head of the White House Correspondents Association. She's a reporter also for CBS.
It's a little bit me. I wanted to see what was happening. And I wasn't making it that easy for him. I wanted to see what was going on. And by that time, we started to realize maybe it was a bad problem, different kind of a problem, bad one, and different than what would be normal noise from a ballroom, which you hear all the time.
From a ballroom. I'm very fond of ballrooms and the noises. That's why I want to build the ballroom. Speaking of the ballroom, we should build it. We should build it. The fact that we haven't built it yet is quite disrespectful. Many might know George Washington, as I like to call him, Washington. He wanted to build a ballroom as well. That's right. He said, let's build a ballroom. That's why we have to fight against the British so that we can have our own ballroom. Everyone wants it.
I listened to what they said. Please drop down, sir. Please drop down. So I was walking halfway, and then I dropped down at the final because we had a little ways to go where you're exposed to the ballroom surroundings. And then I got up, and we went to a hold room for a while, and I tried to get them to continue the event, if possible.
You wanted to go back in.
I did. I really did.
You can see the gunman
did.
running through the metal detectors. And he fired off one or two rounds.
13-minute interview. He spent like the 2 to 4 minutes defending how he didn't eat shit, actually, and he meant to do that. Fucking awesome.
His speed was rather incredible, actually. He was like a blur.
How did he get that close with the place swarming with security?
I will say, look, I say it because I'm a big fan of the people of law enforcement. And, you know, some of these people, they may be crazy, but they're not stupid, and they figure things out. He ran 45 yards, they say, and he just went to it, and then, boom, he popped through it. I mean, he ran like, I think the NFL should sign him up. He was fast. When you look at it on tape, it's almost like a blur.
Right.
But it was amazing because
He ain't wrong, bro. He booked it.
You could see.
Yesterday, someone in my chat said, here we go. Another athlete lost to the STEM field. He could have been somebody.
Them draw their guns. They were so professional. Aimed their guns, and then they took them down immediately.
2 hours later, the president was back at the White House to brief reporters.
I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile.
Wait, no, mention the Cash Patel thing. I want to see how he reacts. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You're really not going to show us the The Trump, you're not going to give us the Trump reaction? What do you think, Mr. President? Why do you think he didn't mention Kash Patel? Perhaps, do you feel like he might have had something to do with this?
Rapist and traitor.
Trump is going to put Kash Patel down like one of Biden's dogs?
Coat my hands
He's been biting too much.
with his crimes. What's your reaction
Well,
to
I
that?
was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Oh,
I'm
you
not a
think? Do you think?
Okay, never mind. This is actually a way better thing to hear him say. I'm not. I mean, he is.
I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
think?
a
Do you think he
pedophile.
was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I
these
was
are the
never,
gunman's words.
Excuse me, you shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace, but go ahead, let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in
You're disgraceful.
the other thing in the manifesto that I think is worth looking at in terms of determining his motive is he had been staying at the hotel since Friday. He checked in, he said he had cased the place, and he wrote, "What the hell is the Secret Service doing?" And he wrote this quote, "I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got is nothing." He wrote, like, this level of incompetence is insane. Sir, you have already had two
Well, he was
attempted
pretty incompetent too because he got caught.
Okay, that was pretty good. That was bars. He still got it sometimes, okay? He does. Sometimes he still got it. God, he seems so salty. It's funny. It's like, come on, why don't this is supposed to be a positive interaction. Why are you bringing up the fact that he called me a rapist pedophile? Notice how since that moment where she read the part about him being a rapist pedophile, his tone has shifted remarkably.
So I'd say he was pretty incompetent too.
Dog, you're literally dunking on one random fucking resist lib who had no real plan. Come on. Like, the fact that he got as close as he did is reason alone to question whether or not the Secret Service is doing a decent job. What do you mean he was incompetent too? Yeah. He's a fucking California resist lib who purchased his first weapon. What are you talking about? He did a Naruto run. His plan was to do a Naruto run and book it to the ballroom. Ken Klippenstein, assassin wasn't on FBI's radar. That's funny. The one time the FBI's like, he wasn't on our radar, I'll be honest.
I mention that because, again, as his motive, you brought this up, he had social media accounts that had anti-Trump and anti-Christian rhetoric.
You should read. Why don't you read all the anti-Trump? Why don't you read it? You just did.
Well, she did. He said you're a rapist. And then you said, I'm not a pedophile. Well, she hadn't read the part about you being a pedophile, but she did. And you got salty.
So why don't you read it?
Well, he had a lot of anti-Christian rhetoric. He was part of a group called the Wide Awakes. He had attended a No Kings protest in California.
No kings.
He never mentioned Trump's name, but we all know who he was referencing when he called him a rapist, pedophile, antichrist, which, by the way, again, don't agree with the methods, but he is not wrong. You know what I mean? If the fucking Shooter's Manifesto said water is wet, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I guess it's wrong now. Shooter's Manifesto reports sky is blue. I'm not going to be like, nope, it's not.
What did security?
Here come all the fucking nerds, by the way. As soon as I say water is wet, here, technically, technically water is not wet. Actually, water is not wet.
Security tell you about what may have been his motives?
The reason you have people like that is you have people doing no kings. I'm not a king. What I am, if I was a king, I wouldn't be dealing with you.
Also at the dinner last.
What the fuck? Oh, fucking crazy.
You are committed to doing this event with the White House Correspondents' Dinner that's about freedom of the
I
press.
want them because I don't want to see it be canceled. I don't want to have a crazy person. I think it's really bad for a crazy person to be able to cancel something like this. There are great people in the press too, I can name, but I don't want to.
That's why we need the ballroom and a third term, maybe a fourth, so I can build a ballroom on top of the ballroom.
Want to embarrass your show. We have some great people in the press, some very fair people, and people that are just on my side.
God, 60 Minutes is just propaganda now, I guess. I mean, it's always been kind of propaganda, but it never to this degree. This is next level.
Well, I know the White House Correspondents Association very much appreciates you going last night.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Bro, we're not going to make it. We're not going to fucking make it, dude. Barry White is going to fire Norah O'Donnell over this interview. Don't worry. She literally said, "Thank you, Mr. President, for being who you are. The White House Correspondents Association really appreciates you." Incredible stuff. Thank you so much. I love.
And honoring a commitment to do it
I
again.
hope we're going to do it again. Nora, tell him to get it going, and we should do it within 30 days, and they'll have even more security, and they'll have bigger
Free press,
perimeter
baby.
security. It'll be fine, but tell him to do it again. We can't let something be. It's not that I want to go. I'm very busy. I don't need that. I think it's very important that they do it again.